Right now, settle back for the whole experience live here on Sports and on BBC Radio Scotland. It is Scotland against Spain, Matchday 2, Group A of qualifying for Euro 2024. You'll hear throughout from Willie Miller, from Liam Crichton and from our match commentator Liam McLeod.
What a night it could be as Scotland pit their wits against the top seeds in Euro 2024 qualifying Group A. Both sets of players now out and ready for the national anthems, starting with the visitors. Last time Scotland beat the top seeds in a European Championship qualifying group here was France back in October 2006. Now it's time for Hampden Park to discover its roar. The place is ready. Sell out Hampden Park for Scotland against Spain. The 13th meeting between them. So that does discount the abandoned friendly in Valencia back in 04, which was at 1-1 before a lightning strike put the lights out. James McFadden, who's a few seats off to our left, says that goal still counts, or perhaps that does count as a meeting. But it is, of course, the first competitive games between the sides since the qualification campaign to get to Euro 2012. Spain won both of them, 3-2 here, 3-1 in Alicante, as the Scots look to wound a top seed. And given what happened in Batumi in Georgia earlier on, anything the Scots get out of this is a huge bonus. 1-1 it finished between the Georgians and Norway. Scotland's main rivals possibly for second spot, you would think. But then again, they come up against a Spain team that's been put together for the first time, really. Tonight, the Scots line up with Angus Gunn goal. It's a back three there of Porteous, Hanley and Tierney. Hickey and Robertson are wide, with McTominay and McGregor supporting McGinn and Christie, who are behind Lyndon Dykes. For Spain, Chelsea's Kepa keeps goal. Spurs' Pedro Porro at right back. Jose Gaya Valencia on the other side. Debutant David Garcia beside Inigo Martinez of Athletic Bilbao in the middle, with Mikel Merino of Real Sociedad beside Manchester City's Rodri. Mikel Oyarzabal, Dani Ceballos and Jeremy Pino across the middle there behind the striker Joselu, who scored twice against the Norwegians in Malaga in that game on Saturday. So just about ready to go then under the lights. Scotland in navy shirts, white shorts, navy socks. Spain all in their famous red. La Roja off to the right. Scotland will attack the east stand in this first half as we watch way up high above Steve Clarke's technical area in the main south stand. So Scotland left to right, Spain right to left. and it will be the visitor kick-off. Joselu of Espanyol will take the first touch. This could be a seismic night here on Glasgow's south side. What can this Scottish team come up with against the top seeds and three-time European champions, and of course 2010 World Cup winners? Spain kick-off. Joselu back to the skipper Rodri, and he shifts it over to the left-hand side. The left centre-back Martinez, and he plays it short to Garcia, who is making his international debut. They'll want to press him if at all possible. What kind of style will the Spanish team adopt tonight? We know what they normally do. Scotland get a first feel of the ball. Mctominay back to Hickey, sweeps it into the Spanish half, and it's headed over to this near side by Garcia, and it's good play down the left flank here for Spain with Gaia, and then his ball forward did reach its target, Oyarzabal, but Scotland won it back at the edge of their box and clear. So important as ever that Scotland start this well. They need to get a feel of the game and not let Spain dictate in these early stages.
Absolutely, Liam, you're spot on, and I think that's exactly what Scotland will look to try and do, with a bit of calm and composure, I think, as well. I think that's important. You don't want to feel rattled early on, you don't want to feel harassed and forced into making decisions, but already you can see the shape of Scotland and how they look, very firm in that back five out of possession. Although as a front three with the press, you know, McGinn and Christie are up there supporting Lyndon Dykes, so they've got that intent if they win it back. They've got numbers and support.
I think the ball forward, it comes off the head of Porteous, nodding it into the Spanish half, and then it's McGinn might break Lyndon Dykes through the edge of the box. He shoots, it's blocked though by Porro. And Spain try to scramble it clear. It's run back brilliantly by Christie there, out to the left hand side for the skipper Robertson of Liverpool. And he goes back to Tierney, to Mctominay, works an exchange there with McGregor, then to the right of the centre circle for Porteous. Almost 2 minutes in, it's out with Aaron Hickey on this near side, as he rolls it back onto the halfway line for Porteous, and then to the towering Grant Hanley, who earns his 48th cap this evening. Short ball to Tierney and back to Grant Hanley, but least really in the first couple of minutes Scotland getting a feel of the ball here.
They are, yeah, and you know, they're looking comfortable on it. As I say that, Ryan Porteous plays a very simple pass right out the park, so you know, he went from you know, the Cyprus game being really accurate in that first half to making his first error. And I think it's really important that you don't make any errors early in the game. You know, you always want to, I think, start the game with nice positive touches. Anything that you do it confidently. You know, and in that case it didn't happen for Porteous. I don't think it will affect him, but you know, Scotland certainly seen a lot of the ball.
It is Scotland in possession here with Kieran Tierney. Barcelona, the runaway leaders in La Liga this season, and not one Barcelona player in the starting 11. Likes of Balde and Gavi on the bench. Now Spain pick up possession with Martinez, and he rolls it out to the right for Pedro Porro. He came up against Aberdeen a couple of seasons ago in Europe, playing for Sporting Club in Lisbon in the Europa League qualifier, as he picks up the ball again on the halfway line. It's a long ball down the right, but it's going to go behind harmlessly for the goal kick, and it's exactly what Scotland want to see. They'd be quite happy if that's what they see most of tonight. 3 minutes in at 0-0.
They certainly will. I think it will please them. Spain just looking, we know they had spoke prior to the game in terms of how they would look to play, targeting those wide areas, looking more at putting deliveries into the box for the striker to go and attack. Just on that occasion it's well overhit, and I'm sure pleases Kieran Tierney as he just chased it down and watched it trundle out.
Gunn's long ball from the goal kick is headed forward by Rodri and picked up on the left hand side of the pitch by Robertson. He goes back to Angus Gunn, winning his second cap, and the new number one clips it forward into the Spanish half. Too high for Dykes on this occasion. Garcia wins it, and Oyarzabal dinks it forward. The header from Tierney's helped on its way by Mctominay. Dykes can't control as Spain pinch it back on the right there with Porro. Steps into the Scotland half and plays it short to the number 10 Ceballos of Real Madrid, who was an FA Cup winner alongside Kieran Tierney when he was on loan at Arsenal a couple of seasons ago. He doesn't always get a start for his club Real Madrid, but he's on the ball here starting for his national team as he plays it along the halfway line to the right there for David Garcia, and it's the Osasuna defender for Rodri. Out to that right hand side for Porro. Down the line it goes to Pino, and Jeremy is known as. It's back in field to Ceballos. Low ball forward down the right-hand side of the Scottish half, comes back out to the middle, just outside the centre circle. The ball's prodded forward there by Ceballos. It's cut out though, and he was trying to squeeze it through to Mikel Oyarzabal, who'd made a good run into the penalty area. But Scotland have it back, and it's McGinn out to Hickey. Forward to McGinn, holding off his man, rolling it along the halfway for Mctominay. Now it's Hickey to McGregor, to Porteous, to Hanley, and then to Tierney, and the Scotland fans encouraged by that. 5 in, 0-0.
Yeah, I think Scotland, you know, at times they're just quite comfortable and quite happy just to have the 5 spread right along the back. I think the way Spain are playing with possibly the 2 wide players, it certainly looks like that. Then there's always a question to be asked and answered: is how do you know, release players from the back, because your wing backs then tend to get pinned back, and you've got that 5 right across defensively. But I think Steve Clarke's lined up for that. He's obviously known how they were going to play, and they're quite comfortable just now to have the 5 and then releasing players forward as and when they're in possession.
Robertson loses it on the far side up against Poro. He was in a good advanced attacking position there. Scotland pick up the scraps with Tierney. He rolls it back into his own half for Hanley. He goes back to his keeper almost 6 minutes in. Still some empty seats being filled up over in that far corner, the northeast corner of the stadium. I know there'll be plenty here in the northeast, and Tayside and Angus, who would have been affected by a lengthy road closure at Glencar's just south of Dundee this afternoon. So hopefully everyone's made it as Tierney rolls it up the line for Ryan Christie. Buzzing forward, looking for Robertson, but he gives it straight back to Poro. Down looking for a free kick. There's one coming. Comes back to Mctominay. Goal! Goal, Mctominay! He's done it again. The man who got 2 on Saturday has just put one past Kepa to give Scotland the lead against the 3-time European champions. Just listen to this place. Hampden Park erupts because the scoreline 7 minutes in is Scotland 1, Spain 0.
That's quite unbelievable, Liam. What a fantastic start, and it comes from Andy Robertson. Real perseverance with the press. Poro, I think, is it slips, but Scott McTominay does exactly what he did on Saturday against Cyprus. He arrives in an area that he's picking up the cutback, and he's cool, he's calm, slots it home with the left foot. I said at the top of the show tonight, I didn't think we'd be speaking about Scott McTominay scoring goals, and within 7 minutes I've been proven wrong.
It is what a start to the game, isn't it? Andy Robertson putting that press on. You know, but Poro does go down. He slips on that surface.
And we've seen it on Saturday, Willie.
Yeah,
we know how ineffective it was at times for the players with the footwear that they had on.
Absolutely, and that gives Andy Robertson the opportunity to cut it back. He gets his head up, picks out McTominay, and then McTominay. It's quite a casual kind of a finish, isn't it? I think it takes maybe a little deflection.
Yeah, there's a slight nick.
But great start.
Another assist for Robertson, who's the main man. He's putting things on plates for his teammate. For Scott McTominay, his second was set up by Robertson, who set up the John McGinn goal as well here against the Cypriots. But what a foundation they've just built themselves in this match. They have the lead, and they've given themselves the ideal platform here. Albeit perhaps better with 8 minutes to play rather than 8 minutes gone, because Spain will come to life at times in this match. But Scotland have the lead, could be crucial in this group. It's out of play for a goal kick. Robertson knocks it back off Pedro Poro, and that's going to be a goal kick to the Scots. I have to say, Luis de la Fuente, the new Spanish coach, putting this new team effectively out there tonight. It could backfire, and Scotland have given him something to think about, that's for sure. Just looking at it there, the replay, it's come off Nico Martinez on its way through. It's probably, it may well not have been going in had it not been for the touch off Martinez as it went past Kepa, who seemed to be deceived by it.
Yeah, he had it covered, didn't he? Kepa, yeah. I thought he was behind it, but it's went through the legs. Martinez, it's taken that little deflection and it's drifted it past the goalkeeper.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Which is everything that you tell young players, Liam. Get your shot, at least get it on target. Anything can happen, whether it comes back out or not.
Ryan Christie for Hickey's in an offside position as he looks to cross the ball into the box. It'll be a free kick to the visitors. So just everyone in the National Stadium just gathering their thoughts, taking a long, deep breath. Because the Scots don't find themselves in this position terribly often. Certainly not in recent years. Haven't beaten the Spanish since 1984, was the 1986 World Cup qualifiers. Willie was in the team. 2 from Maurice Johnston, 1 from Kenny Dalglish, his 30th and final international goal it was, and what a goal it was, as that's knocked forward there by the Spanish. Little push there on Hanley, and that's going to be a free kick given against Joselu, who is protesting his innocence to the Swiss referee. But it's going to be a Scottish free kick, midway inside their own half over on the left-hand side. 10 minutes in. Does this have the feel of a special night?
It does, Liam, already. It does, and I think even in the anthem, you could feel it around the stadium. Shivers going down the spine as we listen to the fans belting out the anthem, looking at the players on our screens and on the pitch in front of us. And I think when you get this type of start in a game, it starts to feel magical, because Scotland would have discussed many what-ifs tonight. What if they go behind early? You know, what if they go 2 goals behind? They would have probably spoke about what if they take the lead, but perhaps not this early on in the game. And it's how you manage that emotion now, how you manage the game plan. But I think the energy in this stadium tonight could very well take them through.
Spain in possession. It's knocked out to this left-hand side for Jose Gaya, goes across halfway. Watching Steve Clarke with his arms behind his back, as ever. It's Ceballos, back to Ceballos, almost came back to the ball, does break back to Dani Ceballos. He's been forced back towards his own goal. Rodri, he turns it back there to Martinez, to Ceballos, outside the centre circle. He's now lurking forward, just to the right side of the D. An opportunity here perhaps for Merino, Real Sociedad player, out to the right hand side. It's a good ball in, just a little bit too high for the man in the middle, who was Oyarzabal. A brilliant cross by Porro, but it goes out for a throw-in off John McGinn for Spain on this near side level with the Scottish penalty spot. 1-0 Scotland, 11.5 on the clock. It's bowled back the way to Ceballos. He's seen plenty of the ball. The Spanish number 10 went into their own half for Inigo Martinez. Big switch of play to Porro. Took it down brilliantly. Rolls it in field to Merino. It's another switch coming up out to this near side for Gaya. He's onto it, under no pressure at the moment. Hickey comes to meet him. Gaya to the left angle of the box. Back to Ceballos. Surveys what's ahead of him. Doesn't like what he sees, but he's managed to thread one through towards Oyarzabal. It just evades him and goes behind for the goal kick. That was really good build-up play by the Spanish, and Ceballos knows he's pretty close to playing his teammate in there. 12 minutes to Scotland 1, Spain 0.
It was. You know, we went back to that 5 at the back, but you know, for me it's a pretty good line along the 18-yard line that they've held it up. I'm not sure they might have drifted into an offside position even if we'd have got it, but it was certainly very cultured build-up play, wasn't it? And then once you get in and around the box, it's that killer pass that they're looking for. That maybe the Spanish teams in the past haven't looked like, certainly a recent past anyway, maybe too many touches, but that one was certainly one that we got away with perhaps.
They look to be using that switch of play, Liam, as well, which could be dangerous at certain moments, because Willie touched on it, the wing-back, being pinned back at times. It makes it a real shift for the midfield to cover the distance and the width of the pitch.
There's McGinn winning it back midway inside the Spain half. He's done well, turns, swivels, finds Christie. Christie's got an overlap, plays it low into the box instead, and it's blocked and cleared. Collected here by the Celtic captain McGregor. Out to the far side touchline for Robertson, then to Christie, flashes one into the box, too close to Kepa, who holds on comfortably in his 6-yard line. It will remain after 13, Scotland 1, Spain 0. The Scots enjoying what they're seeing so far. Craig Levine, former Scotland manager, are you enjoying what you're seeing so far?
Yeah, I mean, what a brilliant start. What really needed to happen for the crowd to get right behind the team immediately, and what better way to do it than to go in front. I mean, I do think the pitch had a part to play in it, Liam. I mean, it certainly looked as if Porro slipped on the far side, but Scotland didn't have to take advantage of it. And Mctominay, obviously, he's got confidence from his couple of goals at the weekend, and he arrives late in the box, and yes, he gets a deflection, but I just feel it's one of those nights where hopefully things keep going our way.
We'll go to Craig every now and again throughout the match as John McGinn collects and sides it into the centre circle for Christie's on his bike now, driving forward. He's got 3 in navy blue ahead of him. Christie's now up to the edge of the box, opened up for him, and he's just shot wide. Oh, that's so close. Kepa didn't even dive for it. Christie, those off target, and it's Matchday, Scotland 1, Spain 0. That parted like the Red Sea for Christie. It's about a foot wide.
It didn't it? I mean, you're expecting one of the Spanish defenders to take a bit of responsibility there. I mean, he's inside the box when he eventually gets that left foot to strike off. He's just inside the box. And perhaps by a yard or so, but at the same time, really positive play, picking it up, just driving at defenders. Defenders don't like that, I can tell you that from experience, and none of them taking responsibility and allowing them to have that shot, and it's ever so close.
The run from Mctominay was excellent as well. He ran right across the Spanish defence, peeled off from inside to out and really stretched them, Willie. It allowed the space to open up. That's why they parted in the manner in which they did.
There's a long ball over the head of Porteous though, and Oyarzabal, left hand side of the box, checks his run, level with the penalty spot, brilliantly defended by Porteous, who draws the foul as well. That is the perfect result for Ryan Porteous. That's what he set out to do there, and Oyarzabal is punished, and Scotland have a free kick just to the right hand side of their box. Scotland 1, Spain 0. Already there's a few frustrated looks in red shirts down there.
Well, when you get a blow like that, 10 changes as well. Yeah, there are quality players out there, but at the same time, I think you need game time together too. And when it's a new manager looking for a new team, and you get hit with one very early, then it's got to knock you back a little bit, and it seems to have done that to the Spaniards.
The only three to survive from the Norway game are the goalkeeper Kepa, Rodri and Merino. The rest has all been changed as Spain pick up. There's no foul for Scotland in the centre circle. Although he's going to go harmlessly behind for a goal kick despite Jeremy chasing after it. 16 in, 1-0 to the Scots. The Scotland fans not happy because they felt John McGinn should have got a free kick inside the centre circle. He's rubbing the back of his head currently. It's 16, Scotland 1, Spain 0. What price would you give for that to be the full-time scoreline? It's Inigo Martinez who's clattered into the back of him. And there was also a possible foul by Merino and Christie around about the same time. The referee, Sandro Scherer, wasn't interested in either. And it's Spain who have it from the long Angus gun goal kick, collected there by Toro, who turns it in field for David Garcia, who finds Ceballos just outside the centre circle. We're in the 17th minute, Scotland leading, and it's Spain on the ball. And this is initially good play from Mctominay. He's won it back, and he's forward there to Dykes, who goes down, fouled by Garcia. He's taken it quickly, looking for Christie. He wasn't getting there, but the ref wasn't ready anyway, and that's a free kick. And Leanne was tapping her desk in appreciation of what Lyndon Dykes did there. Just takes all the pressure away. Brilliant
work initially from Scott McTominay. Just real composure in the middle of the pitch, just checks back out of the situation, keeps the ball under control, no panic, which is exactly what you want. The players around just feed off of that when they see each other being so calm and relaxed in those types of situations. And then, as you mentioned, Dykes just comes and takes the pressure, uses his body so well as he does, and draws the foul. Takes the pressure off Scotland, allows them an opportunity to play forward, get the ball into the Spanish opposition half, and look to play there as much as they possibly can.
It's off Mctominay, he was out for the throw-in on the near side to the Spanish. And Spain's wonderful qualification record, including away games. As I said, they've only lost 5 European Championship qualifiers since the finals in 1992 that they failed to qualify for. But they have been a little bit vulnerable on the road overall in the last few years. They've drawn with the Czechs in the Nations League, that was last year, and Switzerland and Germany in the previous edition of that tournament, where they also lost in Ukraine. And they drew friendlies in the Netherlands and Portugal. So they haven't always been winning games when they've been travelling recently. As that long ball towards Dykes bounces all the way through to Kepa. 18.5 on the clock. Scotland 1, Spain 0, under the lights here on Glasgow's south side. Willie Miller.
It's very comfortable. Scotland so far anyway, and the Spaniards are definitely looking a little bit rattled. Some really unforced errors, giving possession away. It's not like them at all, putting it out of the park in one occasion as well. So I don't think the team could have asked for a better start to the game. Team's looking organised, disciplined at the back. They'll go into that back 5 when they have to. Got that goal, that all-important goal, and an early goal in a game like this, what it does for your confidence, it just sets it sky high.
Well, just 4 or 5 days ago, Scott McTominay had 1 goal for his country. He's taken that to 4. And that was his little, 20-25 minute cameo at the weekend. And within a few minutes of this one. Scotland have had the lead since the 7th minute. And it's Spain in possession with Joselu. First time ball out to that right hand side. Long ball into the box. The cross from Porro is only half away by Porteous. Collected by Gaia. Takes a touch. Swings the ball in. There's a header. Straight at Angus Gunn. Either side of the goalkeeper. It's probably one apiece. And Joselu's holding his head in his hands. It stays Scotland 1, Spain 0. 19.5 minutes in. And that is the Spaniards' best moment in the game. And really, Joselu should probably have brought Spain level.
Yeah, it's a warning shot, Liam, because it's almost that switch of play that the Scottish midfielder stretch, as I mentioned, that might happen, and as Porteous clears the ball to the edge of the box, there was no blue jerseys to pick up the second ball. Comes in, it's a really dangerous cross. Joselu probably should do better. Angus Gunn, it comes straight at him in the middle of the Scotland goal. But it is that warning shot, as I mentioned.
That's a big chance, isn't it? You'd expect him from that range to get it either side of the goalkeeper. You know, he wasn't under pressure. You know, he was in between two centre backs there, and he was well above them. And it's right in the forehead as well. He's got his head, his hand in his head, and he knows that's a big chance. It's went a begging, and we've survived it. That's for sure.
Yeah, there'll be a few more of them, I would have thought. A nail-biting night. It is Rodri's cushion header onto the halfway line for Merino, who slides, finds Porro right at the centre circle. Back to Garcia, he plays it to Martinez, and out to this near side for Gaia, gets it into the strike. Moving forward, about midway inside the Scotland half now. Out to Oyarzabal on this left flank for the Spaniards, in field to Ceballos, switches it out to the right for Pedro Porro. Level with the edge of the D of the Scotland box, onto the touchline on the far side for Jeremy. And back into the midfield it comes for Martinez. Forward to Rodri, shrill whistles from the Scotland supporters. Ceballos, forward to Oyarzabal at the edge of the D. He runs into a cul-de-sac. Mctominay wins it back, goes back to his keeper, and he dumps it clear as Angus Gunn up towards the halfway line, where it's met cushion header by Inigo Martinez. And again, all over it as well down there as he puts it out for a Spanish throw-in, but he just wasn't giving Dani Ceballos any kind of time on the ball whatsoever. With 21.5 minutes into this one, Matchday 2, Group A, Euro 2024 qualifiers. Scotland leading the top seed Spain by a Scott Mctominay goal to nil, as the Scots get a free kick on the halfway line for a foul down there by Joselu.
It's a throw-in, isn't it?
It's a foul
you
throw,
you never see that in the game, do you? When was the last time you saw a referee giving
very
throw? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It was, by the way.
It was terrible. Probably one of the worst techniques you'll see. He was almost doubled over.
Almost a quarter of the way through this. Spain have it back with their goalkeeper Kepa, hits it first time with the left foot up towards halfway. Joselu wants a free kick, felt he was being impeded by Hanley. Hickey's decided to volley it all the way back to Angus Gunn. He takes a good touch and then slices it the second attempt there. Not sure what was going through Hickey's mind. At least Gunn's fine touch out for a throw into Spain, level with the Scotland 6-yard line.
No, and you can tell that Angus Gunn's fairly new in this team, because I think there would be many other goalkeepers that if they had received that, they might have had a bit more to say about it, Liam, but he lets Aaron Hickey off the hook.
There's Spain, who could still punish it. Aya's left it for Ceballos, left hand side of the box, a delicate ball in. Joselu should have got something onto it, in the end gets nothing. Scotland get it half away. Important moments in the game, a quarter of the way into it. In comes the cross. Joselu headed off the bar. He's in 3 chances in the last few minutes. He spurned all of them. Scotland come away in the counter with McGinn down this near side. Well, Joselu's header found the crossbar of Angus Gunn's goal frame, and I mean that is just an inch or so away from drawing the Spaniards back on level terms. Stays 1-0 though.
Well, it's a warning, isn't it? You know, you've got to get close to him. He's certainly, you know, a real target and a real danger from the cross balls. We heard before the game that that's the way Spain like to play, and the cross balls have been put in, hasn't been defended. They haven't been defended particularly well, and we're a little bit fortunate not to find ourselves back in level terms with the Spaniards, because, as you said, Liam, 3 opportunities and none of them taken.
Well, the Scotland fans in the North Stand are claiming that Pedro Porro tried to pick the ball up for a throw-in when it hadn't gone out, and Ryan Christie was protesting as well, and he's being spoken to by referee Scherer. It'll be a Spanish throw-in midway inside the Scotland half, over on their right hand side, as they attack the goal to the left, and boy have they been doing that in the last few minutes. Scotland leading a bit of a charmed life all of a sudden. Hickey picks up the scraps, finds Porteous, he goes back to his keeper, and Gunn puts it up high towards halfway. Dykes wins the header. How often have we said that in Scotland international matches? He couldn't find a teammate though, and Ceballos switches it left to right of the centre circle for Toro. Now with Rodri, to his left for Ceballos, and out to Toro again, who's the man who the Scotland fans felt handled the ball before it went out. You can tell. There's Ceballos now, collecting it, bang in the middle of the pitch here, right-footed, looking to slip it out to that far side, and Robertson read the danger, and he puts it out, and then the enemy Pino's gone down clutching his face here. Andy Robertson is saying he's making the most of whatever this is. Now, if there's anything in it, the VAR will tell us. But Yeremy Pino's dropped to the deck, rolling around, clutching his face. The Scotland players are trying to get him to stand up, and we're seeing a replay of it now. Robertson, it's his shoulder, I think, has caught Yeremy, and the referee will be taking on advisement from the video assistant. Big moment coming up here, 25 in, Scotland leading 1-0.
Nothing for me, Liam. Looking at it, I think Andy Robertson, he almost nudges into the player.
Listen,
there's no
that
contact in his
interpreted.
face, Willie, for me. I think when you look at it, there's certainly contact in the body, but he's going down and rolling his about and holding his face as if he's been punched.
I agree with you.
There's absolutely minimal contact at best. It's a disgrace.
I think he's overreacting to the situation, but see when that's slowed down, Leanne, and somebody's watching it. You know, up top, it's his motion towards his chin with his arm, his elbow.
Let's go to Craig.
I think they might give it. Yeah, on you go.
I'm in agreement with you, Willie. I mean, I think he makes a definite movement with the top of his arm and his shoulder into the player's face, and there's enough in that for me for him. I think they could be in trouble here.
Yeah,
I know he goes down and he rolls about and all the rest of it, but Robertson didn't need to do that, you know.
He didn't. It's interpretation of it, I think, now with the match officials.
The player continues his movement towards Robertson, though. The two players come together.
So
if he doesn't
right,
walk
Leanne.
towards Robertson, then there would be no need for Robertson to push him off. And I think he almost makes it as if, get off me. Don't come towards me, and gives him that wee nudge. And of course his shoulder's going to move, but I'm telling you right now, slow that down as much as you want. There is minimal contact at best in that player's face, and he's rolling about like he's gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury.
We all agree that he's definitely made the most of it, that's for sure. But I think Robertson makes a definite move to move the shoulder.
Yellow. And I was saying it was Yeremy. Looking at the replays,
why is it yellow?
Pedro Toro. Robertson's been booked, and Spain have a throw-in, so it's not even a free kick. So if it's not a foul, why is it a yellow card?
Exactly.
Because the VAR decides to issue yellows.
Anyway, it's good news for us.
Oh, isn't it just?
And Leanne was right.
So the referee's not made the decision. He doesn't yellow card them because he doesn't see the foul. So VAR is basically refereeing this game of football.
Here comes Spain though, down the right-hand side. It's pulled back, and Porteous is in the right place. The air, it's still inside the box down by the byline. Hosselu brushes Tierney off the ball, and he eventually goes behind for a Spanish corner. Scotland still leading 1-0, 27 and a half in, and the only punishment so far after a couple of close shaves is a yellow card for Robertson.
So I take it was a yellow card for his action towards the winger,
But the referee's not made that decision. Sorry, Liam, to cut over you.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, VAR's not, it's here for game-changing moments. That's what it's here for.
And not to decide yellow cards.
No.
In comes the corners, a header just over from Rodri. He was at the right angle of the 6-yard box, and he ripples the roof of the net, and it stays after 28 and a half, just about. Scotland 1, Spain 0. It's been a difficult 5-10 minutes, this though.
The deliveries are wild, Willie, aren't they? They're so good. So difficult to defend against, and if Spain are going to get themselves level and cause problems in this game, it's exactly where it's going to come from. It's another huge opportunity.
And we're not picking him up either. I mean, he's a huge figure there. You've got to get someone on him. You've
the
got
quality of the run, though, isn't it? And the pace and the ball and the delivery.
Rodri's 6'3", you're not missing him.
What's happened with all that wrestling, getting close to players in the box? I mean, what is that now? 4 headers? 4 headers, I think.
Well, we've just had a yellow card dished for.
And here come the Spaniards again. Hosselu out to that right-hand side to smell blood here. Pedro Toro's on it again. He goes for goal, and Gunn is to tip it over. He's 25 yards from goal. There is Toro, whose error led to the Scotland goal. He's tested, the fingertips of gun, and Spain have another corner as we approach the half hour. Scotland still leading 1-0, but they're quaking a little bit here.
They are, and they've got to ride this storm just now. There's quality and there's real variety to the Spanish attack just now, whether it's shots from distance.
Oyarzabal with the in-swinging corner, the header down and away by Hickey, and then on the half volley it's lashed over the bar by Yeremy. And Scotland survive that, and it stays Scotland 1, Spain 0. But the last 10-15 minutes, Willie, have been extremely difficult for this home side.
Yeah, I mean, basically the defence has been peppered, and you know, the deliveries from the wide area are really taken, but I still think that our defence has been found wanting a little bit, not getting close enough to players, particularly, you know, tall physical players. You've got to make sure that you're picking them up, and they haven't done that yet. So we have rode our luck quite considerably, I think, in that last 10 minutes, Liam.
Yeah, falling out of the game, they really have. Now a lot of that's down to what the Spanish are doing, but Scotland off it just at the moment, still have their lead intact though. And that's the most important thing, as it's collected here by David Garcia. Short Merino, now to Porro. You don't need me to even name check him. Comes back to Merino and then into the centre circle for Garcia. Rolls it along the halfway line for Martinez. Back to Garcia, across the halfway line, and out to the right for Merino. Looks forward to another one of those long clip balls into the box. Hossellou's got there first. Goalkeeper's away from his goal line. They forced it wide right though. It's Porro, cross ball in, headed clear by Hanley. Scotland can't get a touch right now. It's all Spain as it's played back into the box, and then Hanley heads clear again. Picked up by Ceballos on this near side, being put under all kinds of pressure by McGinn. And then out of play it goes for a throw-in on the near side. I think McGinn's going to be penalised for a foul on Martinez there, just before the Spanish player put it out for the throw. And McGinn putting the pressure on, and Inigo Martinez felt the full force of the Scotland number 7 there.
Yeah, he's just trying to get his team up the pitch. The momentum certainly takes him through and connects with the player. I don't think you can have too many complaints about that one. But it's the tenacity of John McGinn. He can feel his side's under pressure and he's just looking to try and give them that outlet. Not coming anytime soon, I don't think.
No. 32 minutes just about played here. Ceballos running forward, slipping it into the box. It's Hossellou on the turn. He's managed to find his teammate, but the referee blows the whistle. And that's going to be a Scotland free kick inside their own box. I'm not sure what the possession stats are for the last 15 minutes. For the game as a whole, it's 63-37 in the visitors' favour, but it's felt about 80 to 90 in the last 10-15 minutes of this.
Yeah, Spain really have taken a grip of the game. The majority of it's been played in the defensive half. And I think when you look at the game, you would have probably quartered it up, but from a Scotland perspective, get through the first 20 odd minutes, see how much you can get out of it, what you can squeeze out of it, stay compact. They took the early lead, which was brilliant. It's the second 20 odd minutes to get to half time now that you're going to need to weather the storm.
Yeah, Spain have it with Gaia level with the edge of the D in his own half as he rolls it back into his own box, and then a sliced clearance up towards halfway. Hickey gets his head onto it ahead of Oyarzabal, and then Hickey loses it. Oyarzabal's the meat in the sandwich, and Hickey is fouled. Free kick Scotland, and that will do very nicely right now. Thank you very much. On the halfway line, Scotland 1, Spain 0. 33 played here on Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland, on digital, on the radio frequencies, on sounds, BBC Radio Scotland Extra at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Matchday 2, Group A in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Scotland leading Spain, but they've been leading a charmed life in the last period of the match.
Yeah, they need a bit of respite, don't they? They need to, you know, in some way get the ball up to Dykes and then get support up to him.
Oh, brilliant header. Dykes with... Well, Dykes is going to be booked here. Yeah, yellow card. He's leapt up there with the defender. He's won the header, but the ref obviously feels he's struck the Spanish player with his arm. And it's he and David Garcia have gone up for it. And the elbow certainly caught Garcia. But is it yellow card worthy? Because Dykes has got his eyes on the ball the whole time.
Liam, I'm looking at it, and I don't know if there's too much difference between the one earlier on with John McGinn. They get caught in the back of his head. Two players going up to compete for a header. You know, you look at the height of Dykes and he's elevated to win the header. it's just the reaction of the Spanish players for me that's mind-blowing at times.
The problem is as well here is that's a big part of Lyndon Dykes' game. He does that again, he's gone.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you jump for a ball as well, I'm with you, Leanne. I mean, it's a big, strong centre forward against a centre back, and things like that are going to happen. You've got to use your arms to get the purchase to get up there and win the header in the first place. But only all too often we see yellow cards being given for something that looks pretty straightforward. Good challenge in my book.
Yeah, and that's a good one from Christie. He's got it back left-hand side of the Spain box, looks up at the area, gets the cross in to the back post. The two in navy blue had come to the near post. Picked up by Spain on the near side by Oyarzabal, gets there ahead of Hickey. That's with Ceballos. Real Madrid man rolls it into the penalty area for Rodri. Scotland win it back though. Here's Mctominay. It was won back by Christie. Mctominay, a little ball into the area. He almost managed to find Ryan Christie on the 6-yard line. He was behind the corner. I think it was Robertson actually won it back initially. As Mctominay made his way into the box, fancying another goal as the big Manchester United midfielder, as he clipped it in, looking for Christie. Couldn't quite find him, corner only.
Superb play from Andy Robertson, because he steps into an area that if he doesn't get there, he finds himself in no man's land. But he does a brilliant job for team, squeezes, locks on in the press, allows McTominay to go and take the positive touch and deliver it into the box. And these are the types of moments Scotland will want to pose a huge threat from.
Yeah, kind of feel they're going to need a second goal tonight. McGinn waiting to take this corner in, swinger with a left boot down on this near side. And the southeast corner off to our right, hands on hips. The referee just sorting things out inside the box. A very congested 6-yard area. There's a couple of players gone down. Tierney has gone down. He's looking at the referee. He's just, I think, encouraging him back to his feet there. He was being challenged by Oyarzabal. The ref telling him to get on with it. Tierney again goes down. Bounces straight back up this time. He's still looking at the ref. McGinn takes the corner into the near post. It's headed behind for another one. Second corner in quick succession. Hosselu putting it behind. And Tierney's now going to Sandro Scherer, the referee, to make the point he's being held by Oyarzabal. It's falling on deaf ears though. McGinn has a second chance from this corner. Scotland leading 1-0, 36.5 on the clock, and it comes on top of the keeper. Kepa punches it up high, way more height than distance though. It's bouncing around inside the area. Gaia can't get much on it. Here's McGinn, right hand side of the box, runs into trouble, goes down. That's surely a free kick. McGinn's gone down, referee says no. Hickey crosses in anyway. Spain get it half away, and then the whistle goes, and it's to the Spaniards' benefit for a foul on one of their defenders. I think it's Garcia.
I'll tell you what, it's not easy for that referee. There's a lot of collisions going on inside the box, a lot of players going down as well. I mean, it's meaty stuff, it's exciting, it's entertaining, that's for sure.
Glad you're enjoying yourself, Willie.
So just over 37 in, Scotland leading Spain by 1-0. Remember earlier in Batumi it was Georgia 1, Norway 1. A big boost for the Scots, that coming into this one. Here's Pedro Porro wide in the right, midway inside the Scotland half. Short ball infield to Merino, back to Porro, and he sweeps it back into his own half, low to David Garcia, who finds Martinez just inside the centre circle. Now he's just inside the Scotland half. It's Jose Gaia trying to offer him an option out on the near side. Instead he plays the simple ball to Garcia. Now it's with Merino, and then to Martinez. Inigo Martinez, cap number 20 for the Real Sociedad player, as that's bent out by Rodri to Porro on the far side, and Tierney with the challenge, and he slides in and puts it into the north stand on the far side. 38 on the clock, Scotland 1, Spain 0.
It's a good shape defensively that Scotland have got, but that wide area, you know, that is area that is the most concern.
Hosselu inside the box, he got onto the ball, he's gone down, he's thrown himself to the deck looking for a penalty. I think, is the referee buying this?
They'll check it, Liam. Absolutely, they'll check it.
Hosselu went down. He's claimed he was bundled illegally to the deck and that Spain should have a penalty here.
Yeah, I think it was Grant Hanley, wasn't it? Nothing for me.
No.
The ball's already gone.
Yeah.
Craig Levein shaking his head as well, and there's no penalty.
To be fair, Liam, I wish in these instances that there would be action taken for simulation, because if player is clearly claiming for a penalty and there's nothing at all happened. It's the one bit of the game that drives me insane, because this will happen umpteen times tonight. We'll be into double figures the amount of instances that we look at where players are offering simulation and trying to con the referee, and nothing will be done about it.
Dykes wins yet another header. Can't find a teammate though. And it's Porro. It's right hand side of the centre circle. We're approaching the final 5 minutes of the first half here. We have a good few minutes added on at the end as well. What an eventful night it's been so far. Scott Mctominay giving Scotland the lead on 7 minutes. A lead they've enjoyed ever since. Spain have had chances though, most notably from Joselu. Rodri as well. As Dykes loses the ball. Under pressure from Garcia. No free kick. Here's Ceballos for Spain. Right of the centre circle, slipping it to Porro. Licks up, low ball. On the turns, Merino. Draws Tierney out from his position, away from Christie as well, as he rolls it out to Porro wide on the right again. And it's in the middle of the pitch with Ceballos. He's found Rodri, or Yazabal ahead of him. Instead he turns it out to the left hand side with Gaia. His cross is blocked though, and it's John McGinn, fouled by Ceballos. That's brilliant from John McGinn. Knew the challenge was coming, wins the free kick, takes the pressure off. 40 on the clock, Scotland 1, Spain 0.
Yeah, hops back up onto his feet, Liam, and gets on with the game. Exactly what you should do. But it's brilliant, uses his body so well, knows exactly when the pressure is coming, works the challenge, takes the pressure off his side. Scotland just need to get themselves in at half time. I think Willie mentioned there the defensive shape in the last probably 6 or 7 minutes has been much better. Flat back 5, 4 across the midfield, and Lyndon Dykes at times just dropping in there and offering that little bit extra support to the midfield, but they're covering the width of the pitch much better, and they're able to shut off centrally as well to stop those intricate passes breaking the lines. Really good.
It's just getting themselves up the park, though, isn't it? That's a big issue that's got to be solved, and hopefully it can be solved in the second half.
It's a huge problem for them right now, because here comes Spain again with Gaia drive down the left. He's unopposed right now. Hickey comes to meet him. He's down to the byline. Hickey gets the touch. I think it's come off the Spaniard last. Yep. Goal kick. 41 played. I should say at this point as well, Scotland have had a couple of yellows. Robertson and Dykes did a bit of checking, and they've increased the number of yellows you're allowed before a suspension, so you can now accumulate 3 yellows in 3 separate matches before you're booked. Previously it was 2, which in a 10-game group, this is an 8-game group, but in a 10-game group it's ridiculous when you consider that UEFA Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League campaigns, which are 6 matches long, that's 3 yellows. So finally common sense prevails in the qualifiers. Down the right-hand side goes Pedro Porro. He goes across halfway. Scotland desperate to get to half-time. Here's Jeremy. Low ball back to Merino. Knocks it forward to Rodri. And he does well. He's danced away from a few there. He's such a good player, Rodri. As it's clipped out to the left-hand side for Gaia. Looks up at the Scotland box. Thought about the cross. Elects to turn and move it back the way to Merino. McGinn is all over him, and he puts the challenge in. You could hear it in the background, and it's out for a Spain throw-in level with the Scottish 18-yard line on this near side. Taken quickly by Gaia. Merino's managed to force it back here to Rodri. 42 and a half on the clock. Scotland 1-0 up. It's now with Ceballos. Scotland forcing them back a little bit. Picked up though by David Garcia, who moves it right to left of the circle for Martinez. Short low ball forward there to Oyarzabal, and he's got that wrong as he dinks it back into his own half. Ceballos has to backtrack. He prevents it from going out for the throw-in, but he's had to pass it back to his goalkeeper. And Kepa has it just outside the box. 2 minutes left of the 45.
You certainly take that, don't you? You know, forcing the Spaniards right back, you know, to just outside their own box at this stage of the game in the first half. You know, I think Steve Clarke will be more than delighted with the performance so far.
Foul by Hanley. Free kick as he brought Joselu down. He was touch tight with him. Joselu's had his chances, hit the bar tonight. I haven't managed to have a close look at a replay. I'm just wondering if Angus Gunn's got the slightest touch on the effort from Joselu which hit the bar. Maybe Richard will have a better idea. Anyway, here comes Spain down the right with Porro dancing into the box. He's gone down, but he's found a teammate as it slipped back to the edge of the penalty area. Merino bends the ball in, he goes right through to Gunn. Once again Joselu's gone down. Claiming penalty when it's not given. A petulant toddler. He turns onto his stomach and starts beating the turf in annoyance. As we approach 44 minutes, Scotland 1, Spain 0. The Spaniards have certainly brought the theatrics with them tonight.
They're having it. Didn't look as though there was any contact at all there. you know, we're seeing it again. It doesn't look like you know, a jersey tug at all, but it just throws itself to the ground. You know, the temperamental Spanish players are you know, trying to seek that advantage, but the referee is seeing through them.
A yellow card would sort it out, Willie, I think.
Yeah.
I think Craig Levine reckons he's spotted a jersey pull in the midst of all that one there, so they haven't checked it back, or at least we're not entirely sure whether that's going on in the background as an official penalty check. But anyway, Craig seems adamant, having had a chance to study the replay. Anyway, Scotland up the other end, the throw in from Hickey into the box is cleared by Rodri. Porteous gets his head to it, he's gone down, and once more Hossalu's on the deck down there. Luke checking for blood while play rages on, as it's collected by David Garcia inside his own box. Shot Porro, he's managed to knock it forward to Merino, who's got a bit of Hampden Park to eat up here as he comes forward, rolls down that right hand side. Tierney comes to meet Jeremy. Really good challenge by Kieran Tierney. Great first touch by Christie. 2 minutes of stoppage time have been added into the first of those. Scotland go back the way to Robertson and then to Angus Gunn. Just 2 more minutes. You can get in at half time, take a breather with a lead. As Christie clips Jeremy over on the far side. Spanish free kick right on the halfway line over on the Spain right. Scotland 1, Spain 0 as we knock on half time.
It's such a time as well in the game, isn't it? You know, to make sure that that shape is kept, and it's been superb so far defensively. And you know, you get that early lead, and obviously Steve Clark's been working on it. If you can get the lead, then this is the shape that you're going to employ, and it's working a treat.
Spain in possession to the right hand side in first half stoppage time. It is the Spaniards in possession, just left of the centre circle with Martinez. We're almost at the end of the first of the 2 that were added. Oyarzabal finds Ceballos as they get closer to the Scotland box. Ceballos has got options to his right. Poro's going to get it here. He's inside the box, right hand side of it, level with the penalty spot, pulls it back, blocked by McGregor. Ryan Christie slips it out to Robertson, he just boots it away, and Dykes will give chase now. Lyndon Dykes driving forward, he's in behind the defence. Lyndon Dykes is in! No, he's lifted it over! Hampden Park collectively lets out a groan as Lyndon Dykes saw the whites of Kepa's eyes, but he didn't have the finesse in the end. What an opportunity it was, one-on-one with the keeper in the second of 2 minutes of first half stoppage time, and it will stay Scotland 1, Spain 0.
Oh, it's a huge chance, isn't it? He just can't get his legs sorted out there at the end. He just needs to get the little dink over the goalkeeper, and he hits it just too much on it, and it goes over the bar. But a magnificent run. And was it Tierney that played the pass as well? I think it was Tierney.
Here comes Spain up the other end though, closing seconds. It's Ceballos. Scotland trying to get back into position. The cross is poor, and it sails well wide. Hossalu, that sums up his first half as the half-time whistle goes here. If only it were full time. Hossalu's got the front of his shirt in his mouth as he ponders what's just gone on in those opening 47 minutes as it ended up being. He's been the man with the chances, the man who got the 2 against the Norwegians in Malaga on Saturday. The closest he came, he hit the bar. Not sure if Gunn got a touch or not, but he's hit the bar. And that was a period of the game where Scotland were getting away with it a little bit. There was the lengthy VAR check to see if Andy Robertson deserved a red. The Swiss referee gave him a yellow. I have to say, I don't think you can issue yellows off the back of VAR guidance, but that's what the referee did. Robertson was booked, Dykes was booked for an elbow, but Scotland have the lead, all thanks to Scott McTominay, who scored twice in the 3-0 win over Cyprus here in Glasgow on Saturday. Well, he was at it again, 7 minutes on out when his deflected effort went past Kepa to give Scotland a priceless lead here against the top seeds in Group A. And make no mistake, if Scotland win this game tonight, Euro 2024 could well be beckoning. The top 2, remember, automatically qualify, and Norway and Georgia spilled points in Batumi earlier. Are the stars aligning here under the lights on Glasgow's south side at Hampden Park? But at half-time, it is Scotland 1, Spain 0.
Scotland in the Euro 2024 qualifiers.
Brilliant from Scotland!
This is Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
What a 45 minutes at the National Stadium. Scotland in front, but only just after a period of concerted pressure from the Spanish, which seemed to last for about 20-25 minutes. And what an opportunity for Lyndon Dykes right at the end of the half. And he went and just chipped it over Kepa and over the crossbar. We're living in our nerves a little bit, Craig Levine, but that's been okay, hasn't it?
Living on our nerves. I don't know. I mean, it's been so exciting. It seemed like 4.5 minutes. You know, it's been incredible. Not 45 minutes. I mean, it's an unusual type of match for me, Richard. The Spanish are throwing a lot of crosses into the box. It's not something that you would normally associate with them. But I mean, Joselu's caused all sorts of problems. I mean, he's got his head on 3 good crosses into the box, and he should have probably done better for a couple of them. And we just need to be careful, you know, that we don't get involved in a fight, you know, as Porteous as at times wants to get involved in fighting Joselu. Joselu at this minute in time is probably a little bit stronger than him, you know. That's the one that the header that hit the bar. I think the Porteous just tried to block him, and he was too strong for him. And I can't remember if the very last situation there where they had a look at or we were looking at the jersey pool. I don't know if it was Porteous or if it was Hanley. I wasn't 100% sure, but there was a definite handful of the front of the shirt, and that could have been a really dangerous situation for us. So the last thing we want to do is give them something. We have to make them work to get anything, and the last thing we can afford to do is do something silly, whether it be, you know, somebody getting a second booking and getting sent off, or whether it may be, you know, giving away a penalty in a situation which isn't deep. Well, I wouldn't deem to be necessary. So I love the way that we're playing. We understood that the Spanish were going to have more of the ball. Of course they have. But we're snapping into as hard as we possibly can. And the thing about the Dykes chance at the end there, it just gives the players encouragement that it's still worth trying to get forward to support. You know, because, you know, the longer this game goes, if the Spanish do throw more players forward, then I think the counter-attack's really, really on for us. So listen, I'm really excited. I mean, it's been such an electric atmosphere in here. Everybody's so hyper. I mean, the referee's getting barracked at every occasion. The wee right back for Spain, every time he touches the ball, Porro, he's getting absolutely, you know, there's howls from the supporters. So it's everybody's fully engaged, trust me, and it's a wonderful atmosphere.
It's a wonderful atmosphere. It's a wonderful scoreline right now, Tom. Overall, in terms of the flow of the play, I guess it's been pretty much what we might have anticipated, other than perhaps Scotland being in front.
Yeah, it's been an extraordinary game of football. There's been it's like about 5 games of football in one 45-minute spell. The amount of incidents, the amount of aggravation out there, the goal, the one off the crossbar, other chances, point-blank headers for Joselu. Joselu's become the pantomime baddie of the night. Dykes could well have scored. I mean, he gets away from Garcia, doesn't he? We know he's got the pace on him. There's so much happening out there. There's loads of niggles. The fans are really engaged with it. It's a fantastic madcap game of football. And you know, I mean, there's the Robertson one. I think he should be off the pitch.
Yeah.
I think it's a red card. I think it's an elbow. It's a needless elbow to the chin, neck, and it's a red card. You can't do that.
He definitely moves the elbow. There's no question about that. He moves it. He motions it towards the player.
He does.
Does he actually catch him that high up? And he certainly doesn't catch him in the face.
No, he doesn't catch him in the face.
Has gone down.
Catches him in the neck, chin.
Yeah.
And that's enough. You can't do that. It's a red card.
I think
he was very lucky.
Yeah, had that been an opposition player, we'd have expected a red card, wouldn't we?
You would, absolutely. If that's a game of rugby, he's off the pitch. No, there's no questions asked. There would be no debate. Yeah, you can't.
You don't get sent off for that in rugby, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a cast iron, no debate, red card in rugby.
What's happened to that game that you love so much, Tom?
Elbow to the neck, chin, because they're very hot on this, understandably. Any contact with that area, it's a red card. I think Robertson is really lucky. I can't quite understand how he's got a yellow.
No.
I mean, if the referee has deemed it an elbow to that area, it's a red card. It's not a yellow card. So I don't know how he's come up with that one.
Well, I mean, clearly the VAR offers it up as, well, VAR checks because it's a potential red card. He's obviously been told that it's not a red card, but there is some kind of offence there, and therefore it's a yellow card offence.
Well, if an elbow to the chin neck is a yellow card, that's a new one on me.
Yeah, okay.
And it's different to the Dykes one. Dykes gets a yellow card. His elbow does make contact with the face, but that's competing for the ball, right?
Yeah,
that's the two of them on competing for the ball. He does catch him. It's a yellow card. I think that's fair enough. The Robertson one was stupid. I don't know what he's doing there.
No, Dykes, and that was a justified yellow card. There's no question that he deserved it for that. What has been frustrating, and it's in some ways really disappointing to see from a Spanish team that we enjoyed watching and playing the kind of football they did for so many years. The histrionics, the diving, the play acting is it's just an embarrassment.
There's a lot of it going on. Joselu is really at it, and I don't think his mood is going to lighten any for not getting a penalty, which I think he was a bit unfortunate not to get. I think it was definitely jersey pull. Be interested to see if you see it on the replay at half time, Richard. We'd love to see what Scotland player was it, but it looked like a jersey pull to me. I think Scotland got away with that one. But yeah, they are throwing themselves around the place. There's 2 or 3 of them at it. But it just shows this adds to the spectacle of it. I know it's not great to see, but it just makes this game completely absorbing. The fact that they are doing this, they're feeling they have to do this because they're in a bit of trouble here, Spain. I know they've had chances, but they're 1-0 down. Christie had a good chance. Dykes had a good chance. Spain are now forcing the game. They're susceptible to a counter-attack. They know that Dykes has the pace in Garcia. It couldn't be any more exciting.
Yeah, and as Craig said earlier, the remarkable thing is to see a Spanish team firing in crosses. It was illegal almost for some of those Spanish players.
This is the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
This isn't Spain aren't trying to kill you with passing anymore, possession. Under De La Fuente, they get it wide, they get crosses in early, and they put in some brilliant crosses, haven't they? It's a different style of play completely, but they're losing, and Hampden is raucous. Spain are narky, and we're loving it.
So from Steve Clarke's point of view, Craig, he just sends his players out there and tells them to do same in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, but be very careful about any challenges that you're making, because obviously the more often the Spanish players throw themselves to the ground and ride about on the ground and they get at the referee, he will give a decision at some point against.
But that's where VAR should come into play then.
Yeah, but
we all know the referees have been swayed like that in the past, but it should always be corrected, shouldn't it?
No, but I mean there are situations where, maybe there is a situation where Dykes goes up again for another header, and it's catched somebody on the shoulder. Now, the referee might look at that and think it's dangerous and send him off, and for me that's not sending off. So and there's loads of situations in games that can happen where a referee will take a glance at it and think, there's nothing in that. But as it builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and all the Spanish players keep haranguing them every time that happens, it's human nature at times just to let something or to give a decision. So we have to be on our guard and be very, very careful in the penalty box about doing absolutely anything at all that might bring the attention of VAR.
Sorry, I think I lost you there, Craig.
It wasn't very good anyway.
Well, you seem to disappear. You seem to disappear halfway through a sentence. You're not looking at any changes at this point, are you? For Scotland?
No. I wouldn't think there'd be any changes at this point in time. I don't know what his strategy and the substitutions will be for this game. I think we had an idea on Saturday, what might happen, and how the things might need to change to sort of, up the tempo a little bit and get some more goals. But I think this is slightly more complicated. I don't know.
Spanish substitution, not we?
Sorry, Tom.
Carvajal's coming on.
All right. So
you know,
means...
full back.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I couldn't. You know, this is developing in, and I hope I won't be eating my words, but this is definitely developing. I was there that kind of night. Because the first half, it's one of the most enjoyable halves of football I've seen in a long time, certainly international football, because it was a bit of everything, wasn't there?
There's a rawness about it, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an edge to it. Yeah. There's a passion to it. There's a physicality to it. It's two teams that are fighting hard. Liam says there's a second substitution as well. There is indeed.
Well, we'll get those confirmed for you as soon as we've got the numbers there lined up. Nothing for Scotland, so the same 11 going out, and they are hoping that they are halfway towards what would be one of the more memorable results achieved by a Scotland national team in decades. Remember the highlights tonight, and as things stand, are certainly going to be worth watching. You'll be able to see extended highlights from Hampden, Sports Team tonight, 10:40 on BBC One Scotland. A long way to go in this. The early goal from Scott McTominay took a deflection off Martinez, but it was enough to ensure that Scotland had that early advantage. They have had to live dangerously. They've come close themselves. Christie just wide, Dykes just over. 1-0 for Scotland. Scott McTominay with his 4th international goal for his country. Those changes for Spain, it'll be interesting to see if that alters the approach or whether it is simply man for man. You can hear the atmosphere in the background. They're keeping it pumped up at Hampden Park, and no doubt the fans will have enjoyed a bit of a breather as well, because it's utterly engrossing, Craig, isn't it? You cannot take your eyes off that pitch for a minute.
No, and it's been played with a passion and intensity it's not seen that often these days. You know, it's quite refreshing actually to watch a game where everybody's just all in. You know, all in, and every challenge, and even if it's not just the challenge, it's the getting after the referee after it. Every single challenge is the same. Somebody's chasing the referee to make a complaint about it. So it sort of seems like everybody's just completely focused on winning this match, and I think there's more to come. I think this could be a game that brings us more than what we expect. Not just in goals now, but I expect there'll be a wee fight on the pitch at some point, Richard. I could see that happening in this game because it's very, very tense.
It would be a wonderful start to qualifying in Group A for Euro 2024 if Scotland can possibly see this through. 1-0 up thanks to Scott McTominay's early goal. Changes for Spain, no surprise. I think that Porro is going off to be replaced by the veteran Dani Carvajal right back. Another change as well. We'll get that confirmed by Liam as Hampden goes into overdrive, and the fans try to play their part in what could be a very, very special night indeed. Half-time, Scotland 1, Spain 0. It's back to our commentary team of Leanne Crichton, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, Dani Carvajal of Real Madrid, just the 5 Champions League medals he has. 5 Champions League titles. And we will get confirmation of the changes down below us just now. And the board is just being readied. So yeah, Carvajal for Porro. Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao is going to come on. He's got 7 goals this season. And he is going to come on for Oyarzabal, who's worth a goal or two to Spain, no matter what level he's played at. But the Real Sociedad man replaced by Basque rival Nico Williams, who started once and made 3 appearances from the bench at the World Cup in the winter. Scotland unchanged, and they'll kick off. Navy shirts, white shorts, navy socks, right to left. Callum McGregor with the first touch, rolls it back to Tierney. Spain all in red with the gold flashes, as you would expect, and it's up towards Dykes, who heads it in field. McGinn will give chase, but it will be an early second half feel of the ball for Carvajal, who we saw face Celtic in the Champions League this season with his club side, reigning European club champions. Spain in possession over on the far side. Scotland line up, Gunn and goal. Porteous, Hanley, Tierney, Hickey and Robertson wing backs. McTominay and McGregor with McGinn and Christie behind Dykes. For Spain, Kepa and goal. Carvajal, Garcia, Martinez and Gaia, Merino and Rodri, Williams, Ceballos and Yeremy with Joselu up front. What a 45 minutes this is going to be. Scotland leading 1-0. And as it stands, what a priceless 3 points it would be. Here's Williams though for Spain down the right hand side, blocked by Robertson. New threat for Andy Robertson to deal with in this second half. Yeremy's gone to the other side. Here's Rodri, the edge of the box, he shoots and Gunn holds on. He had his eyes on it, now he's got his gloves on it. 46 on the clock. Scotland 1, Spain 0, but that's a signal of intent from the 3-time European champions if ever there was one. An early second half shot on target from Manchester City's Rodri.
It is, and it's perhaps the message that was sent at half-time, Liam, is that, you know, Spain, they need to produce more efforts from in and around the Scotland penalty area. It might not be that perfect goal, and it's just that early shot off to test Angus Gunn, but he does well. It comes through bodies. It's not a tough save to make, but certainly it's comfortable and one that the goalkeeper will appreciate early on again to get his hands on the ball.
I think so. If you're wanting a strike early in the second half, then it's one straight at you.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what he had to deal with there, and he dealt with it really effectively.
Scotland win it back in the midfield. A loose one that time, but it's equally loose from Dykes. He gives it straight back to the visitors, and Jose Gaia on the far side. Forward towards Ceballos, who's going to get it back here from Yeremy, and back to the number 6, Inigo Martinez. He switches it to Garcia, making his debut for Spain tonight, the centre back. Garcia out to this near side for Carvajal, he moves it to the left of the centre circle for Martinez, pushing it forward there, and a chance for Spain with Yeremy Pino. He's danced away from a couple of challenges, but then his pass is cut out. Scotland have it back with Christie, who's brought crashing to the ground by Merino, and that's going to be a free kick to the Scots midway inside their own half central area. Scotland 1, Spain 0, 47.5 on the clock, and it could be a slow ticking clock in the second half.
You have to take up as much time as you possibly can, and you know, Ryan Christie there, very intelligent play. You know, he goes down, he is touched. Does he need to go down as hard as he did? Probably not, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's an educated free kick that he gets. It allows Angus Gunn to play the long ball up for, well, not for Christie, I would suggest. And that's what exactly what he did. Just the wrong man that he played it to. You know, get it up to Dykes and get up and support him.
Dykes has done brilliantly. There's Christie raids the first challenge, going down the far side, and he's brought crashing to the ground by Gaia. That's going to be a free kick, might be a yellow as well here for the Valencia fullback.
That's definitely a yellow card.
Incidentally, I was getting a little bit of clarification on the Robertson yellow in the first half. It appears it was for dissent in the wake of the VAR check for a possible red card, so nothing to do with the actual challenge, because we were saying that VAR can't intervene to produce yellow cards, but it appears he said something to the Swiss referee during that, so that's why Robertson was booked.
Well, that's reassuring, Liam, to know that we've not just decided tonight that VAR will decide yellow cards.
There's a free kick to Scotland, no further punishment for Jose Gaia, but John McGinn's got a chance to take this free kick, which is bang on the touchline, north stand side level with the penalty spot. He sizes up the Spanish defence, the Spanish box. In from McGinn, Tierney's gone down, it's headed away in the 6-yard line, battered for goal by Christie. And it's well wide, and it stays Scotland 1, Spain 0 on 49.5. That's a few times Tierney's gone down in the box just before a set play's been taken tonight.
He's getting close attention in there, but I think he's given as good as he's getting, actually, you know, because he wants to get close to the opposition player, and they're coming together in the box, and he has went down, what, 2 or 3 times now, but the referee not having any of it.
It's just one defeat in the last 18 away games in this part of the European Championship for Spain in the qualifying competition. Their away record is even better in World Cup qualifying matches, just one defeat in 36 on the road. Scotland are mixing it with a proper team here. No matter who they send out, and they tend to get the job done. And only 5 minutes into the second half, Scotland leading by 1-0. And it's Spain in possession. It's flicked to the right-hand side of the centre circle for David Garcia, out to Carvajal on this near side. Williams, his fellow sub, gets onto it now, back to Carvajal. And he rolls it infield to Garcia. Carvajal certainly won't be panicking just now. His club side were 2 goals down to Manchester City in the second leg of a Champions League semi-final last season, so he's helped dig his club side out of a bigger hole than the one they're in Glasgow tonight. As Carvajal plays it forwards, a poor pass straight to Kieran Tierney. Tierney wins it now. He's getting it into his stride as he runs across halfway. Over on this left-hand side, he's left Carvajal for dead. Now he's bounding in towards the box. Tierney plays it across. It's half away. Mctominay! It's the stuff of dreams for Scotland, and it's the stuff of dreams for Manchester United. Scott McTominay, who is suddenly the Tartan Army's magic man. He's just given the Scots proper lift-off here. 2 goals against the 3-time European champions, and as the Tartan Army rub their eyes in disbelief, the scoreline now reads Scotland 2, Spain 0. A historic night awaits here in Glasgow.
It's incredible, Liam, isn't it? I mean, Kieran Tierney, absolutely magnificent down that left-hand side. The cross into the box, not particularly great. Comes off the defender, and there is Mctominay, who's burst himself to get into that position. Just gets ahead over the ball with the left foot and drills it. It's a very tight spot that he's picked as well. Bodies round about him too. Ends up in the back of the net. It's quite a magnificent evening.
The Tartan Army rub their eyes. I think Leanne Crichton rubs her eyes next to him. Unbelievable. The finish is exquisite because he does everything right. He gets it on target, he gets a bit of luck, it goes through the legs of the defender. The goalkeeper's probably unsighted, but Kieran Tierney, what a brilliant run down this left-hand side. He draws the defender in so well.
Spain looking to respond immediately as Robertson clears his lines out for a Spanish throw-in. Big few minutes this one. Scotland now have insurance. They have an insurance policy against the top seeds. As Spain pick up with Merino, looking to switch the play out to Gaia over on that left-hand side. Scott McTominay with a goal early in the first half, a goal early in the second half. And we have a quite incredible scoreline at Hampden. Merino prodding it forward. It's cut out and it breaks John McGinn's way. McGinn driving forward, done brilliantly. Across halfway he burns, rolling it out wide right to Hickey. Scotland on a good counter here. Hickey's held up momentarily as his pass to McGinn is cut out by Merino and out for a Scotland throw-in on the far side. They've got some incredible outballs in this team. John McGinn there after Tierney's bombastic run down the left-hand side to set up the second goal, which McTominay caught so sweetly. He smashed it into the bottom left corner. And Kepa's just not getting anywhere near it. 53 on the clock. Listen to this place. They say Hampden Park doesn't have an atmosphere. Special night, special days it does. And this is gearing up to be a special night. One of these special nights. Scotland without a win over the Spanish since 1984. They are 2 to the good here. And Spain in possession with Inigo Martinez. Short ball and he gets it back. Switch of play out to this near side for David Garcia. I think De La Fuente is going to look to his bench again here. He's got some serious talent. Alvaro Morata, Gavi, Nico Aspas, Borja Iglesias, he has options. But Scotland have a 2-0 lead. He'd rather that than the options on the bench, that's for sure. As Spain pick up here with Martinez. Up towards the edge of the centre circle. Long ball looking for Williams. Tierney's underneath it. Heads it away. Little header there from Martinez out to the left-hand side. Goes straight to Hickey's. Won his team the throw-in off Gaia. Well, let's go to Craig Levine because we can scarcely believe what we're seeing here, Craig.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, this place is absolutely rocking. I mean, it was brilliant play down the left-hand side from Kieran Tierney, and just to the point, he drew the defender in, looked like he was going to cross it, and he's gone again. And a lung-busting run, maybe about 70 yards. He gets down, puts the ball in the box. We do get a bit of good fortune, and it bounces back to McTominay. But listen, since he came on the pitch on Saturday, no player could have had any more impact in any 2 matches.
That's cleared by Kepa. Incidentally, and this escaped me, I did wonder why there was a kerfuffle down there. They've switched referees at half-time. Sandro Scherer is not refereeing this game anymore. Lucas Vandrich is the new official in the middle, so they've changed referees. He was on fourth official duties. I think they may well have swapped jobs by the look of things, as that goes out for a Scotland throw-in to be taken by Porteous. 56th minute, approaching the end of it. Scotland 2, Spain 0. It sounds incredible saying it. Scotland supporters have got the flashlights on their phones en masse inside the stadium. It's a spectacular scene. The optics, the imagery is quite incredible, but not as incredible as the scoreline of Scotland 2, Spain 0. And the Scots came from 2 down against a far superior Spanish side all those years ago, as Iago Aspas prepares to come on. This is the latest change by De La Fuente. It's the Celta Vigo striker who's going to come on. Actually, the spell at Liverpool and played under Brendan Rodgers there, and he has come on for Mikel Merino. Meanwhile, Scotland have another free kick, level with the Spain penalty spot, just about a yard from the far side north stand touchline. McGinn's going to whip this in with the left boot. Are things about to get even better? McGinn, he's gone for goal. Kepa keeps it out, just under his crossbar, and that was so very nearly 3.
It certainly was. It was audacious, wasn't it, from John McGinn? And he's meant it. He's trying to dip it under the crossbar at the near post. Kepa just reacts to it really late and manages to get a hand to it at the very top corner. That would have been some. Again, wide out in that right hand side and whipping it in with the left foot and almost finding the top corner.
We spoke about experience, Liam, at the start of the game, how much of an impact it would have when you look at Scotland and how inexperienced Spain are at international level when you look at the players that are on the pitch. And so far for me tonight, it's actually shown, I think, Spain in their game management.
There's a chance though. Williams has found Gaia's inside the box, pulls it back. Big opportunity for Aspas, is just on. Scotland throwing bodies in the way, and Porteous has done magnificently there as he slides in. All his teammates have gone to him. I think he's injured himself in the process.
Yeah, I think going to need a replay at that one, because there was a lot of bodies in there, but there's no doubt that Porteous was brave with the last gasp challenge. 2 Spanish players there that get stuck in amongst them, but then the challenge comes in from...
He's caught his studs, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Porteous.
Back up though.
That's good to see. He's hobbling a little bit. This pitch has come in for some serious criticism recently, as we see a replay of Kepa and his crossbar, I think, managing to keep that John McGinn free kick out. He was bending it towards that top right as he was watching.
Yeah, he was almost caught out. Brilliant whip on the ball from John McGinn. We know how deadly he is and how much quality he produces. Certainly tonight he was looking to try and catch the goalkeeper out. Add insult to injury, you would need to say, looking at the scoreline.
Here is Robertson for Scotland on this near side, level with the edge of the centre circle in his own half. It's a long ball looking for Dykes. Underneath it is Garcia, and that's out for a throw-in to the Scots. We're in about the midway point of the Spain half, down below us. Steve Clarke watching on. You can never tell. If someone showed you a snapshot of Steve Clarke's face during a game without the scoreline, you wouldn't know if they were winning or losing. And down there he is, the picture of calmness.
He'll be delighted, Liam. He'll be absolutely delighted with the performance, the shape, the high line that the back 5 have managed to play as well.
Oh, Dykes is unlucky. Just about kept that in at the byline there. It's just crept over, and it's a goal kick to the visitors as he managed to flick it back into the box. Spain take it quickly with Kepa. Sorry, Willie, 60th minute, Scotland 2, Spain 0.
It's just when they go into that back 5, but it's not a deep back 5. You know, Hanley is making sure that it's a back 5 that's pushing out whenever they can.
Yeah, it's almost like a mid-block, isn't it?
Chance for Spain. Cross comes in, headed away by Hanley. Down that left they came. Scotland come away with it with McGinn. He's overhit that one for Tierney. He's going to get there ahead of Williams. He just elects to put it out for the throw-in though. It's a dodgy one towards him as we tick on to the hour mark at Hampden. An amazing scoreline. 2-0 Scotland against the Spanish. Out to the left, the visitors again. There's another cross coming in, headed away by Porteous. Out for a throw-in, level with the Scotland 6-yard line. They're in a hurry to take it. understandably. Yeremy retrieving the ball, leaving it for Jose Gaya, who bowls it back the way to Martinez. This currently is a scoreline that will send shockwaves through Europe. And it sends a tartan bolt through Group A. Here is Carvajal as the ball switched out to the right for Spain. Back to the right of the centre circle for Garcia. Out to Williams on this near side. He's attacking Robertson, trying to stick with him. Williams back to Carvajal. He gets the ball in, headed away by Porteous. Header comes back to the edge of the area. It's Aspas just turning it back, having got it from Rodri. Scotland forcing them out though. Yeremy has to go back the way to Martinez. And now it's collected by Ceballos. 29 of the 90 left to play. Spain in possession with Rodri. Short ball back to Ceballos. Now he's shifted it to the right here for Garcia. Carvajal to Williams, right hand side of the box, blasts it in and over the bar. I think Aspas has got the final touch on that. He and Joselu went for it at the 6-yard line, and it goes over the crossbar, and it stays Scotland 2, Spain 0 on 61.5.
Yeah, it's good build-up play from Spain. The Scottish back line just at 2-3 yards too deep. It's another dangerous cross. It's probably a let-off actually for Scotland, because you've seen those ones being turned in just off the first touch, Willie.
Yeah.
And the paces in the ball as well. It doesn't take an awful lot for the striker to just go and get your head over the top of it and get it on target.
Just anything really. Unfortunately for us, it was a really poor touch, you know, at the end of the cross. But that's really the first time a movement like that with Williams is actually getting behind our defence. You know, most of it has been a lot wider, but on that occasion it was a good move.
Trying to find him again, Williams. Pace to burn. Tierney reads the danger and does brilliantly again. Finds Robertson, he keeps it in. He's actually won his team a throw-in down below us. 62 minutes on the clock. Scotland 2, Spain 0. We're going to go back to Craig Levine now just to get his calm, measured take on where we're at right now.
Well, who would have thought we were where we are right now? I mean, I think we're all very hopeful before the match. There were a lot of signs that Scotland were heading in the right direction, and that Spain weren't at their absolute best at this minute in time. But I think only the most sort of really silly person would have thought would have been 2-0 up at this point. But I mean, it's going to be a really difficult game for concentration now, and tiredness can come into it. And I just wonder if maybe there will be some substitutions to aid with that.
Yeah, he'd be loath to change it, won't he? 63 in. Scotland defending well again. Hickey with a diving header clear. Ceballos collects the scraps over on the far side. Rolls it back into his own half for Inigo Martinez, who moves it left to right of the circle for Garcia. Out to Carvajal, looks up, clip ball forward. Williams is in behind Robertson here. He's down at the byline. Williams wins the corner off Robertson. Although the flag's gone up, I think. Offside. Free kick Scotland. 63.5 minutes on the clock. Sometimes if it's your night, it's your night. Might be one of those nights.
So far it seems that way, Liam. Marginal again, but it's a good decision from the assistant referee in this side. He's gone just a half yard too early. And it's a tricky time. We spoke earlier on as well about game management from the manager, Steve Clarke, and would he look to change it just now? I think we're getting pictures of him just now having discussions with his backroom staff, but I just think it's a horrible scoreline, because the next goal is so important if you don't get it. And I think Steve Clarke will understand that. He doesn't want to change things and unsettle the group, because they're doing so well. But there'll be a couple of players out there that will start to toil in the next 5 or 10 minutes, because they've put an awful lot of work into this game so far.
It's going to be a Spanish throw-in deep inside their own half to be taken by Dani Carvajal. 65th minute. And Carvajal can't keep it in play when he got it back. Scotland throw-in. What a good performance this has been. It's been brilliant from the Scots. They are giving everything out there. Robertson bowls it back to Tierney, clips it to the edge of the box, but it's booted away by Garcia. On the halfway line, Porteous heads it out to this near side. Williams beats Robertson in the jump. Rodri nods it forward. McGregor just losing out there to Joselu, but Joselu's header's actually gone to Dykes. He can't break forward, but it breaks to Mctominay, who slips it to the left of the box here for Robertson, who's won the corner of Carvajal. Can Scotland score a third? Because even at 2, you're not sitting comfortably.
you're not, but you know there's still a load of energy out there, isn't there? You know, whenever Scotland lose possession, or whenever Spain are in possession, even in, you know, the final third, Scotland are right on top of them. So I'm not seeing anybody yet wilting. So, you know, I suppose the manager has got to take everything under consideration. You'd expect legs in the midfield to be a little bit weary now. Will he make the change?
Corner, McTominay, it's low, it breaks around about the 6-yard line and spy in clear. McGregor, short to Christie, who clips one towards goal. It's well wide, goal kick, and stays Scotland 2, Spain 0 as the Spaniards prepare to make their latest change. Joselu is going to be replaced by Borja Iglesias of Real Betis. He scored 12 times this season. He missed the World Cup in Qatar, and that's despite the fact he scored 19 last season. So he's a big danger man, the Betis player. He comes on to replace Joselu, who wasn't able to repeat the heroics despite his chances of Malaga on Saturday. It's a dreadful ball out by Kepa, straight to McGinn, crosses it into the box. Kepa gets there ahead of Christie, who fouls Kepa, and that's a free kick to Spain as Kepa decides to try and get Christie booked by lying down in apparent agony, and then gets the ball, jumps straight back up and passes the ball when he sees Christie's down.
I think that's okay if he wants to roll about at this moment. You know, if it's running down the clock for us, then, you know, bring it on.
How are you feeling, Leanne, going into the final quarter of this? Scotland 2, Spain 0.
I actually feel calmer now, Liam, than I did for that period in the first half, thankfully. It's tough not to get caught up in it when we're here and we're watching it, and you feed off the atmosphere around us as well when you look at the energy on the pitch. Yeah, a little moment down there. It's Carvajal who's been yellow carded in the end up, and it was he and Aspas who are arguing with Tierney, I think it was. Free kick Spain in any case, but Carvajal was booked, and he gets the ball out on this right hand side. Carvajal infield to Williams, toes it infield for Rodri. McGinn's little challenge, but it breaks Spain's way with Gaia, clips the ball into the Scotland box, blocked by Porteous, taken down by Rodri. Can't make it work for Spain. That's going to be a free kick to the Scots for a foul by Iglesias, and Tierney's down as well. So's Porteous. It's the walking wounded down there. Christie, Porteous and Tierney all appear to be injured. Tierney looks like he's the worst off. He also looks like he's struggling just from that collision with Kepa a minute or so ago. He certainly looks like he's potentially hobbling. There's a number of Scotland substitutes out warming up. Billy Gilmour looks like he's going through a bit of serious.
Yeah, he's running up and down the touchline.
You would expect it to be changed pretty soon, Liam. I think if you freshen up one of those front players in Christie, possibly Dykes, we spoke about Kieran Tierney, possibly would be changed anyway, just off the back of limited club football of late and putting in the shift that he is. I can see him looking across to the dugout just now, so hopefully just don't take any risks.
Yes, I'm just checking to make sure James McFadden's okay. He's working for 5 Live. He seems all right. Thumbs up as the long ball forward there by Gunn goes all the way through to Kepa at the edge of his own box. So 21 to play plus injury time. Scotland 2, Spain 0. It is Garcia slipping it to his left for Martinez. I think Kenny McLean appears to be getting ready to come on for the Scots. Spain have it wide on the left. That's a great turn there by Jeremies. He makes his move towards the Scotland box, rolls it wide left for Guy at the byline. First time cross is blocked, and that's going to be a corner. I think whoever's blocked that's taking one in the face. It's Hickey. Yeah.
It's a sore one right in the side of the head. I think he's going to be okay. He's going to get back up.
The Spanish players,
they've lost it, haven't they?
Assuming that Aaron Hickey's time wasting here. No, he's just taking the ball flush in the face.
He's came back onto the park, Liam. That's what they're complaining about. He was off the park when he took the knock, but they've lost it. I mean, the Spaniards have lost their composure. Any composure that they've had just went out the window.
Kieran Tierney looks as if he definitely is toiling. Thing is, it's a head knock. You know, the referee won't allow play to continue a player off the pitch with that type of injury anyway, so I've got no idea why the Spanish players are allowing themselves to get caught up in it.
Well, we saw Harry Kane doing that in Naples last week. He was injured, then rolled himself back onto the pitch.
I get it if it's a normal injury, Liam, anywhere else in the body, but the reality there is the Spanish players are swarming.
Ceballos with the cross from the corner, and eventually it's Rodri who nods it down into the ground, but it's a comfortable take for Angus Gunn. We're in the final 20 minutes here at Hampden. Scotland 2, Spain 0.
It's a poor header from Rodri. I think he should be doing better at the back post. A decent one. It's John McGinn he's up against, and he's not met it properly. I thought that was a decent opportunity for Spain, and it was wasted.
That's excellent. I'm looking at, is it Islas Borja Iglesias was hiding.
Oh, look at this. Onside, Dykes, right hand side of the Spain box, chips it in. It's a poor ball. Beat Christie around about the 6-yard line. The flag's actually gone up late on after that move as Kenny McLean waits to come on for Scotland down below us.
Sorry, Liam, all I was going to say, he's hiding in Angus Gunn's net there, and the fans actually reacted to warn the players and the goalkeeper that he was still hiding. Scott McTominay applauded the fans for letting them know because they turned their back in play. Just one of those moments in football that you could probably find yourself getting caught out with. Not when there's 50,000 behind you.
Scott McTominay scored early in both halves to give Scotland a 2-0 lead against the 3-time European Championship champions, and he would allow them to take a grip of Group A. And what a start it would be. Still lots of work to do though, and it's Spain with Gaia flipping it forward. Yeremy's in space, left hand side of the box. Hickey comes to meet him now. Yeremy Pino slipping it back down the line. Infield to Ceballos, up against McGinn. He's at it nicked off, and Ceballos throws himself to the ground. That's going to be a free kick to Spain over on that left hand side, and Hickey's pulled up again. I think Steve Clarke's going to have to look to his bench more than just the once here. It is a Spanish free kick, and this is almost about, well, 6 yards away from the left angle of the box, bang level with the 18-yard line as we hit 72 minutes in Glasgow. Scotland 2, Spain 0. Big moments in this group. Spain free kick. Dani Ceballos of Real Madrid takes it, and it comes. It's a good one, headed away by Hanley. Williams picks up the scraps. Right hand side of the box, faced by Porteous. He'll do well just to make sure he doesn't foul him. Williams is away from him though, dancing around, and he passes it towards goal, and Gunn holds on. 72 and a half played. Scotland 2, Spain 0. Williams overcooking it.
He was tempted though, wasn't he?
He was. And Porteous, I think, he was tempted to dive in.
He was, and if he had, then I don't think there's any doubt that Williams goes down, because his hand was out tugging again. You know, the one in the first half, it was Porteous as well. He needs to watch that. He's a little bit fortunate to get away with it.
I always think it's tricky for defenders now, because initially when Porteous goes out to defend, he's more worried about tucking his arms behind his back, which makes it so difficult to shift your body weight as well when you look to transfer the weight.
A misunderstanding there. Liam Cooper is about to come on. There's a misunderstanding between Robertson and Tierney, but Tierney clears anyway. So Cooper and McLean will be on for Scotland shortly.
Yeah, you'd think Tierney would come off, wouldn't you? You think he's struggling a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, you would expect it to be Tierney. I'm also looking at it. I wonder if it might possibly be Lyndon Dykes that makes way, and even just push John McGinn up one and put Kenny McLean in that midfield just for some fresh legs.
Scotland 2, Spain 0, 73 and a half played. It's with Carvajal on this near side. It's a clip ball. It's clever towards Aspas, headed away by Tierney. Then Robertson knocks it out for a throw-in. Claims it's a Scottish ball. It's going to be a Spanish ball, and Scotland will make the changes. So Christie is coming off to be replaced by Kenny McLean, who'll come on to win cap number 29. Ryan Christie's putting a sweat-soaked shift as usual. A fine player he is. And Norwich City's Kenny McLean will replace him, and we are imagining it will be Tierney. Yes, it is. And Leeds United's Liam Cooper is going to replace Tierney. Cooper will win his 15th cap, his first cap actually since the disappointing night here against Ukraine last June in that World Cup playoff semi-final. And he's been injured recently, Cooper, so he's not had much game time. He'll need to be switched on from the first moment, and the first moment for him will be facing this Dani Carvajal throw-in, level with the Scotland 18 on the main south stand side. Tierney still being helped off, and I mean, Alexander Zinchenko's a magnificent player, right? World class. That's why Tierney can't get into the Arsenal team. But what a player he is. Scotland lucky to have a player like Kieran Tierney. I know for so long managers didn't work out how they could play he and Robertson. Steve Clarke's cracked it big time. Throw in for Spain. Carvajal's thrown that straight out for a goal kick. Well, that would do. 15 to play. Scotland 2, Spain 0. Five-time Champions League winning fullback. Can happen to anyone.
When things go your way, they go your way, Willie.
Absolutely.
It does have that feel about it, though. I'm probably a bit apprehensive to speak too soon.
Spain scores a very different game. That's the thing. They get it back to within one. It will be up the Alamo as Gunn prepares to take this goal kick.
Been shown a yellow card for that, Liam.
To Gunn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time wasting.
And Gunn gets rid of it. 76th minute. It's too high for Mctominay. Headed in field. Cushion header, which Aspas nods back the way to Garcia. And now it's with Carvajal on this near side. And back in field for Garcia. And you're still not comfortable at 2-0 up, really, when you're up against one of the top 10 sides in the world, no matter what kind of state they're in. And the Spanish public aren't in love with their national team just now after their performance and exit at the World Cup finals to Morocco in the last 16. As another loose ball from Inigo Martinez goes out for a Scotland throw-in on the far side. Scotland leading this by 2-0. They're on the brink of history here, and it really does unlock this group for them. Remember, the top two automatically go to the European Championship finals in Germany next summer. Barcelona's Gavi is going to be on shortly as Spain throw the dice for the last time. Here's Carvajal for them. Long ball headed clear by Hanley to the edge of the centre circle. Mctominay flicks it to the right of it for McGinn, who loses it. Now it's with Gaia. Little ball in field to the skipper Rodri. Slips it forward to the left-hand side of the D, where Hickey comes to meet it, and he's able to get a vital touch to shift it out to the touchline. Here's Ceballos though. Ceballos moves it left to right towards Carvajal, who loses it, and Cooper clears. Now it's Dykes rolling it to McGinn. He's going to go long here, looking for Robertson. Awkward one to defend for Garcia, but it's a magnificent touch from the centre back, which Willie Miller would be proud of, as Spain away with it. Scotland 2, Spain 0 with 12.5 to play of the 90.
It's dead easy. You just block out the 50,000 that are here. You keep yourself calm and you take it out there as though there was nothing at stake.
It was almost double the crowd inside this arena when you were playing for Scotland, Willie, in the old Hampden, as Williams picks up on the near side beyond the midway point of the Scotland half. Gavi waits down there to come on. Scotland defending for their lives here as Cooper gets in the way of it, and that's gone behind for a goal kick as well. And Spain make the change, and Ceballos of Real Madrid will be replaced by Barcelona's teenage sensation Gavi, who was on the score sheet in their 7-0 rout of Costa Rica in their opening World Cup game in November. He wears the number 6 shirt of his Barcelona manager Xavi in the Camp Nou. Now that is pressure and a half. And you consider he's following in the football boots of one of the greatest midfielders the world's ever seen, who also happens to be his manager. Long ball from Gunn, headed away there by Martinez, out to that far side. Long ball forward, Porteous nods it back into the Spain half. It breaks the way of Rodri. And now Rodri unchallenged at the moment. McGregor comes to meet him, but eventually shifts it to the right of the centre circle. The clock continuing to tick down, and there's yet another loose ball from Garcia, out for a throw-in. 79th minute with Scotland leading by 2-0. And I mean, just about everyone, I think, if the Spanish team that was here 12 years ago put a pass out of the park like that, they would have been disgusted.
It's incredible the amount of wayward passes that we've seen from the visitors tonight, isn't it, when you think of the quality that's out there in the pitch, and the fact that their temperament, and see, once you lose your temperament, things like that happen. Your concentration goes as well, and then all of a sudden you can't pass to your teammate. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, I think you can see that this is a group of players that haven't played together all too often. Breakdown in communication, just misunderstanding the movements and the expectations from one another. And thankfully, for a Scotland perspective, they're working really hard across the pitch, but they certainly, I don't think, have worked as hard to cause and to force as many errors as what Spain have given tonight.
It is Carvajal knocking it back infield there to Garcia. Everyone bar Kepa's in the Scotland half right now. Short ball to the left of the circle, where Martinez rolls it out to Gaia. First time looking for Jeremy. Jeremy keeps it in place, done well as we enter the final 10 minutes of the 90. If it was a boxing bout, it would be the last round. as Spain collect the ball here with Garcia. Square ball for Martinez. Controls with the undersole, rolls it with the left, forward it goes, and there's another loose ball from Jose Gaya. And every time that happens, it just takes a little bit of the pressure away from the stadium.
I think what it does, though, it gives Scotland the belief that this team don't have any answer to the setup that Steve Clarke's put out there. I think their back five have been magnificent. If you watch them throughout the game, they haven't dropped too far deep. At every occasion, they're wanting to, push up and squeeze the space, which helps your midfield as well. And Spain don't have any answers to it. They simply don't have any answers so far to how Scotland are playing.
I think that's Aaron Hickey that's gone to ground. He's going to need to be replaced. Nathan Patterson has just made his way back in, certainly to get his tracksuit bottoms off and get himself ready for the pitch. The referee's just waving a finger at the watch on his wrist. I don't think it's time wasting from Hickey, though. I do think he's been a bit uncomfortable, certainly for the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, he's down receiving treatment over on the far side. Stephen Naismith down there just encouraging Nathan Patterson. A lot's made of the fact that Scotland have struggled to find homegrown strikers, and Stephen Naismith was actually the last homegrown striker to score for the Scotland men's national side. Lewis Ferguson's going to come on as well. What a fine season he's having in Italy with Bologna. Nathan Patterson's on first, though, and he's on for Hickey. What a good replacement that is. Two fabulous young right backs, and for so long we were struggling to find one of that level, English Premier League level. John McGinn hasn't scored tonight, but he got that crucial opener against Cyprus here on Saturday, and he is going to be replaced by Lewis Ferguson, as McGinn is encouraged to hurry up and get off the pitch by Yeremy Pino on the far side. On comes Ferguson. Scored in his most recent appearance for Bologna in a 2-2 draw with Salernitana, and the former Aberdeen player comes on. Another terrific replacement, and what a good squad Steve Clarke has here. You just get the sense that this is a special era, and a result like this simply underlines that. Throw in for Scotland over on the far side. The clock continues to tick down. Nobody leaving early tonight. What a celebration it will be as Spain try to win it back on the far side. Pino hooks it over his head, and Porteous is brought down. The yellow card's out. It's just yellow. It's been flashed at Aspas. I think there are many feel this should have been a different colour, and it may be something that is looked at by the VAR, but Aspas is absolutely clattered Porteous. Well, I mean, it's outrageous. Yeah, he's got no intent to play the ball whatsoever. The player's mid-flight, get no opportunity to control his body in the manner in which he falls. It's just a real lack of discipline from Aspas, because he's got caught up in this evening, he's got caught up in the scoreline and the lack of quality that his side has shown tonight.
But the thing is, the referee should be asked to look at that again.
Yeah.
He should be, surely. I mean, that looks to me that it's definitely a yellow card. There's intent there, there's no attempt to play the ball. He's just trying to wipe Porteous out, and it's just a yellow card. And you get a yellow card for time wasting. It's ridiculous.
Robertson takes the free kick. It's headed away by Spain. Round about the penalty spots, we move towards the final 6 of the 90. Dykes knocks it into the box. It's an important header away by Martinez, who was brought down. And that's going to be a Spanish free kick inside their own area. 84 minutes played as Steve Clarke shakes John McGinn's hand down below us. He hasn't scored tonight, but yet another magnificent performance.
His performance is outstanding almost every time he pulls on a blue jersey. Whether he scores, I think he makes the players around him better. Liam, constantly his work rate, he leads by example, he leads the press so well, he takes the pressure off the striker when he's isolated like he has been tonight, Lyndon Dykes, for some time. And defensively, he's just so good.
Spain in possession with Garcia out to Williams on the near side. He controls it. Now he's facing the Scottish box on the right hand side, taking Robertson for a dance down towards the byline and winning the corner off a combination of the Scotland skipper and Kenny McLean, the sub. Just approaching 85 minutes. Scotland 2, Spain 0. A sensational scoreline. Will it be a sensational result? In comes the short, well, it's dinked it out to the edge of the box, Carvajal, and he overhits it for Aspas, and it goes behind for the goal kick. And the Scotland fans are loving this. They're going to be loving it even more in 5 minutes plus injury time. It stays Scotland 2, Spain 0. I have to say, I was at Pittodrie. I saw Aberdeen throw away a 2-1 lead and lose 3-2 to Rangers, so anything's possible. Absolutely anything's possible. But Willie Miller, Scotland look pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, different scenario though. And I won't go into the Aberdeen side of it, but the back five for Scotland have been absolutely magnificent tonight in terms of not going back anywhere near their penalty spot, making sure their penalty box, making sure that they're playing a high line while still defending stoutly, and that has been the bedrock of the success tonight. Yeah, the 2 goals have been fabulous, but defensively outstanding.
Yeah, it's been a brave performance in many ways, but it's plenty nous about it as well. This is an international side that knows what it's doing. Spain are at Hampden, and it's not Spain I'm talking about. Williams with a poor touch allows Robertson to sweep it clear, and a few more seconds ebb away from Spanish hopes. A couple of thousand Spain fans off to our left in the southwest corner as the visitors collect wide on the left. It is Gavi rolling it to Rodri. Out wide left it goes. Gaia back infield for Rodri. Rodri looks up, thought about the shot. Instead he drops the shoulder, drags it back and plays it out wide left to the overlapping fullback, and it comes headed away by Hanley. Gaia will pick it up again, level with the Scottish penalty spot. Short ball there for Jeremy. Comes back the way here to Inigo Martinez. And then Gavi clips the ball in. It comes off Hanley and over his own bar. Could quite easily have gone into his own net. Corner only. 87 on the clock. Scotland 2, Spain 0.
Yeah, it just slides off the boot of Hanley, gets himself into an area. Actually comes off the shin, doesn't it, when we see it back there? But he's in a good area to defend it. The contact and the ball just isn't great. It's just a bit of pressure that you wouldn't like to be under just now.
Outswinging corner from Williams, and it comes. It's headed away brilliantly there. Really important header by Dykes. Spain come again with Carvajal. 2.5 of the 90 left. Scotland leading by 2-0. It's Williams now attacking Robertson, dancing into the box. He's found Gavi. Gavi also dancing around. Williams surely was offside there. Robertson clears anyway. Flag has gone up. He was offside. Scotland 2, Spain 0. Scotland free kick. I've just turned around to a few Scotland fans behind me to see how calm they are. They're not. It's the only national team, I think, that could be 2-0 up going into the last 2 minutes, and the fans are still stressed.
I know, and you can feel that when you look around the stadium. I think any other national team with this type of result would probably be on their feet, and they're going to start singing now. I think they could possibly feel that we're edging closer, and they will. They'll kick off. They'll go absolutely crazy if it remains like this at full time.
The good news is that the players don't look too stressed.
No, they don't. They don't, and I love it. They're celebrating every challenge, every decision that goes their way. They're high-fiving. They're enjoying it.
Well, here goes Williams, though. He's in behind right-hand side of the box. A delicate chip ball, which is headed away by Porteous. What a performance it's been, and Scotland win a free kick for a foul by Rodri inside the Scottish box, and that is a free kick. We're in the final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes. Scotland are going to bring on Lawrence Shankland for the closing stages of the match. The Hearts striker, he's having the season of his dreams as well. 21 goals for his club. He was a call-up for this after Shea Adams withdrew injured, and he'll replace Lyndon Dykes, who again over this double header has had his say, even if he hasn't scored. Shankland for Dykes, Willie.
He's worked extremely hard. Lyndon Dykes, not been an easy shift for him. He's not had too much company up there, he's been up against a couple of big, strong central defenders as well. Held the ball up to allow, some support from the midfield. So he can be more than pleased with his performance tonight.
What a touch by McLean down on the near side. Unfortunately, it breaks down. He was deep inside the Spanish half as Aspas looks to slip it out to this near side for Iglesias. First time ball back to Carvajal. Spain still plugging away. Scotland, though, 2-0 up on them as we approach second half stoppage time, and about 25 seconds away from that right now here on Sportsound. The closing stages. Scotland are so close to the most sensational of victories. David Garcia rolling it out to Williams, level with 18, back onto the left peg, crosses the ball in. Gunn will claim, and it stays Scotland 2, Spain 0.
That's not good enough, is it? You know, Williams in the ball.
6 minutes, Willie added. 6 minutes away from a key victory, and one of the best victories in recent years.
Listen, they've defended so well tonight. You know, I'm not going to tempt fate by saying that I don't see Spain scoring, but with 6 minutes to go and the performance that back five have put in fact the whole team have put in, it's just been a wonderful evening for everybody to enjoy. The players, you know, must go away from this one with a huge amount of confidence to take forward.
If they go to Oslo in June and win, they're so close to qualifying after just 3 matches. I mean, that would be just amazing. And Georgia at home in the other game in the group in June, with that double header, and the group goes on ice for a few months. Almost at the end of the first 6 minutes of stoppage time, Carvajal knocks it out to Williams on the near side. Back to Dani Carvajal. Clip ball to the edge of the box, is headed clear by Hanley. That back three and the 2 wing backs over the last couple of games, and Cyprus obviously don't pose as much of a threat as Spain do, but they've been superb to a man. As that's shifted to Gavi over on the far side. Gavi then returns the ball to Garcia, right of the centre circle, out to this near side. It comes to Nico Williams, level with the Scottish 18, back to Carvajal. Carvajal knocking it through to Gavi, lovely turn, Gavi across the face, blocked brilliantly again, this time by Cooper. They've all put a shift in, even the subs have had an impact in both these matches. Shows you the strength of the squad that Steve Clarke has. As Williams goes back the way to Garcia, shifts it desperately to Inigo Martinez, out to the far side, it comes back the way to Martinez from Gaia. Long ball to the right hand side of the box. Carvajal, first time ball back the way, and it's clear by Robertson, who played 2 of the 6. 4 left, 4 minutes away. Long ball out to the near side for Carvajal, controls with the right foot, slips it to Gavi. Gavi trying to get it back to him, he's found him. Carvajal, his cross is cut out, it does loop into the box, and it's headed behind by Cooper for the corner. Spain corner with just under 4 minutes of stoppage time left. Still the Scotland fans bite their nails, but they're nearly there. Out-swinging corner coming up potentially from Gavi. He's taken it short, rolling it to the right angle of the box for Carvajal. On his left-hand side, he's to turn back to the right, finds Gavi, chips the ball into the box and headed away by the man of the moment, Mctominay. McGregor helps it on its way, drops the edge of the box, a volley for goal, which is well wide from Yeremy Pino. And that sums the Spanish up, quite frankly. 3 minutes, just about half the injury time's come and gone at the end, and it is Scotland 2, Spain 0.
What a performance. What a performance when you look at every single player across the pitch. And to a man, their game management all over the pitch tonight has been outstanding. I think the way that they've dealt with the game plan, they've dealt with the expectation, they've dealt with the opponent, both in 1v1 situations and as a collective unit. The work rate that they've put in, as you mentioned it there, Liam, if one player misses a defensive opportunity, another player steps in and deals with it, and the substitutions that have come on have filled those gaps and filled those voids exactly the same as the players that have departed the pitch. They've been absolutely outstanding.
It's been a mature performance, hasn't it? You know, one where you accept that you're playing against a quality side, one where you know that you've got to be organised, one where it's a back five, but an acceptable back five. But when, you know, you've got possession, then that back five becomes a back three, and you actually get the wing backs forward too. And when you've got Mctominay, you know, finding the back of the net the way he has done recently as well, you know, that confidence just goes right through. This is a magnificent performance. It's built on that defensive stability, but with the quality of player that's out there tonight in a dark blue jersey, I think we've all got to be very privileged in watching it.
Free kick, Grant Hanley brought down, and now they're beginning to celebrate, Leanne. About a minute and a half left of the injury time, and only now are the Scotland supporters able to relax somewhat. Only now. And what a night. And this is just the start of the night for the Tartan Army, you can be assured of that. A full Hampden, a national team they have fallen in love with over the last couple of years, and it could be, Richard asked the question earlier, are we on the brink of entering a golden era, or are we already in it? It would appear to be the latter. It's still only match day 2, but The top seeds are being put to the sword here. We're in the final minute of injury time. Spain come again with Garcia. Rolls it out low to Carvajal. Looks up at the Scottish box. Headed away by Cooper. Carvajal's cushion header back to Osasuna's Garcia, who finds Athletic Bilbao's Martinez. Difficult night for the new centre-back pairing as his low ball forward towards Iglesias, cut out by Hanley. Breaks the way of McGregor, scampers away from his man, and from another one, it's Callum McGregor. McTominay's on his bike. Can McGregor get away from the challenge? He can! Scotland are 3-on-2. Could have been the most incredible climax. He's found Shankland, pulls the trigger! Deflected, and Kepa holds on. As McTominay clashes with the goalkeeper. Oh, that would have been some finish, as McTominay's yellow carded for that. But we're into the final 10 seconds just about here. The shrill whistles from the Scottish supporters will be replaced by sheer jubilation any second now. Spain continue. We've got into a 7th minute of stoppage time. The referee's got his whistle on his lips here. That's it! A victory for the ages for Stevie Clarke and his players. Scotland have railroaded the 3-time European champions out of Hampden with one of the most incredible wins in this team's history, and probably the best one since Paris in 2007, and when they beat the French in those Euro 2008 qualifiers here as well. Hampden Park, as the rain tumbles down, celebrates as one, save for the little corner of red and yellow off to our left. The Scotland players celebrate down there. Scott McTominay with the 2 glory goals tonight. One early on 7 minutes, deflected past Kepa, and then 6 minutes into the second half he repeated it, smashing home from round about the edge of the box. And it's scarcely believable, quite frankly. A magnificent triumph for Steve Clarke. The biggest of feathers in the hat. Scotland the brave, all right, that's for sure. Because they've taken a massive grip, a stranglehold of Euro 2024 qualifying Group A. With the little bonus ball of the fact that both Georgia and Norway spilled points in Batumi earlier on. It means the Scots sit atop after the opening doubleheader as they now look forward to those games in June in Oslo and back here against the Georgians. The Spanish players are crestfallen down there. Well, someone once famously sang, "We have a dream." The Scottish players have just made the potential dream appearance at Euro 2024 all the more possible with an incredible victory on a night they could do no wrong. They rode their luck a couple of times for sure, but this was one of those classic tub-thumping Hampden Park nights. And this stadium, which has come in for some criticism in the past, is making some noise, and it will be reverberating all around Glasgow's south side. It finishes here with the 3-time European champions, head slumped, walking off the pitch, and the Scotland players in elation along with their supporters. What a long night it's going to be for them, but in the best possible way. It's 2 wins out of 2, and they've just beaten the top seeds at the start of Group A. It finished here thanks to the new darling of the Tartan Army, Scott McTominay. Scotland 2, Spain 0.
Scotland in the Euro 2024.